Good morning, everyone. Since I have the privilege to do the first shot in this presentation, I think I'll crave your indulgence to thank the Global Director, Professor Eric Vance, whose brainchild made it possible for all of us to gather here today under the umbrella of LISA 2020. A round of applause for him, please. I extend my greetings to the three wonderful ladies she's working with. My greetings also goes to the wonderful personalities in the person of Professor Oludare, a great mentor, Dr. Awe, Nigerian-Brazilian, Professor Atinuke, the chief organizer of this symposium and his committee. To everyone here, I welcome you. My work is on mobile statistical clinic, bringing statistics to your doorstep. The green logo there stands for my university logo, Imo State University, Owerri. The second logo is the IMSU-LISA logo. This experiment is being presented today to LISA 2020 Sustainability Symposium at KNUST, Kumasi, Ghana, this day, 3rd May 2022. My name is Dr. Hope Ifeyinwa Mbachu. My details are below. Introduction. IMSU-LISA Stat Lab has been highly favored to be selected as part of a LISA 2020 network. It is located in the Department of Statistics, Faculty of Physical Science, Imo State University, Owerri. The Stat Lab has 9 members, 2 females and 7 males. It was officially recognized as a member of LISA 2020 on 20th October 2020. It is partnering with more than 30 stat labs in the developing country to establish statistical collaboration. The plan is to mentor statisticians and researchers through the stat lab and to help foster development through statistics and data science. It also plays the role of actualizing the vision and mission of Imo State University. Now, to introduce the experiments proper, the mobile statistical clinic. What this means is taking statistics to your doorstep. It means going out there to meet clients instead of waiting for them to come to your stat lab. A good example is like a medical doctor going out there to a marketplace to treat patients instead of waiting for them to come to his clinic. The aim of the experiment is to make IMSU Stat Lab strong and sustainable. The objectives are itemized to create awareness for IMSU Stat Lab, to enable IMSU-LISA Stat Lab increase in networking and collaboration, to provide funding for the Stat Lab to make it sustainable, to train students to solve real practical problems. Materials. The banner The banner is for identification. It contains information about the STAT lab. On the banner, you have the name of the STAT lab clearly stated. The logo of IMSU and the logo of the STAT lab placed side by side, just like on the first slide. Then you have the location of the STAT lab on the banner. It also says what we do and then the contact person. Then the flyers are the miniature type of the banner. The client's form is used to keep records, table, jingle, and others. Then method. So with a team of 5 members, we move into the university committee, station ourselves at public locations. And there, our banner strategically displayed. 3 students went out there to attract clients and also distribute flyers. A lot of people showed interest. And then some of the problems brought, the complex ones were referred to the STAT lab, while the simple ones were given on the spot solution. Then records were taken using the client's form. This thing was done for different places in the university we visited. And our results came as follows. The table shows the results of various points visited in the university. The places visited are the recreational park, the postgraduate school, auditorium, inaugural lecture hall, when they're having activities. Then for the recreational park, the first visit we made, we had 9 staff and 21 students. Out of this, we are 13 males and 17 females, giving a total of 30. When we visited the postgraduate school, for the clients, we have 8 staff, 20 students, out of which we also had 15 males and 13 females. We did same for auditorium in the inaugural lecture. These results we try to show graphically using the bar chart. And when you look at that, you will see that the students, number of students are higher in all the places we visited than the staff, which is expected. Again, when you look at the gender, we have more males than females, except on the first one, that the recreational park. The summary, the experiment has successfully contributed to increase in networking and collaboration. It also supported financially the STAT lab for training and for human capacity building. The experiment promotes the departmental recognition and reputation, thereby increasing awareness. The STAT lab had much of independence to enjoy. It also addressed the peculiar situation of self-support, since the people worked there volunteered themselves. Conclusion. By taking statistics to Doorstep, interested people collaborated with us. It created more awareness, attracted extra income, increased networking and collaboration. Staff students were trained, TEA, transforming evidence into action, thereby bringing the STAT lab onto strong and sustainable paths. Thank you.
We'll now open it up for questions. We'll have a 5-minute Q&A session while we set up our next presentation. Anyone have any questions or comments?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. That was a good presentation. But you made mention of the experiment bringing in more finance to the lab. How were you able to, what was the basis for the charge? How were you able to place the charges you place on each of the projects? Was it something that was at random? Anybody that comes, you pay this, you do that? How was the money coming in? That's why I'm confused.
Thank you very much. Just like I said, the complex problems were referred to the lab. So when they came, we tried to look at the kind of problem they have, and that would determine how much we charge. But our charge is not high. It's affordable, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to ask, like, when you talk about you have 5 teams, the 5 team, is it 3 students and 2 staff? You didn't really specify that. Then how do you move? I want to know, you mentioned recreation park, inaugural lecture and stuff like that. Do you use this 5 team for all the mobile statistical clinic? I just want to know how to do that.
Okay, the experiment was done in the university. So the very close ones to the department, we trek to the point. But the ones that are far from the department, we use our vehicle to move there. Then for the student, I said 5 teams. Yes, in each team, we have 2 lecturers, then 3 students. The 3 students go about to attract clients and also distribute flyers. In some cases, they use jingle because I wrote jingle as part of the materials. In some cases, they use music to attract people or dance. That's what I mean.
Let's give a hand for Dr. Hope and Mbachu. Thank you. Okay, and UST, please welcome Ms. Wilhemina Adoma Pels.
Okay, thank you very much. So a little brief introduction about KNUST. It's the 12th member from the LISA group. And by that, we've been able to give birth to 4 groups in Ghana. Yes. And our objective is to promote statistics and data science among our university community. That's for our lecturers, even technicians, and also our students. And also for outside the university community. So our services are collaboration, training, working, statistics and data science education promotion. So per the statistics and data science education promotion, we decided to use our sustainability experiment on that. We decided to have it on that. So we engaged, there are 6 colleges in the university. That's the College of Science, College of Humanities and Social Science, College of Arts and Build Science, and also College of Engineering, College of Health Science. So we contacted all the 6 provosts and also the registrars of the various colleges. And due to the way we had some strike, a nationwide strike, so we could not start our experiment early. So we then pay agreements with the provost, scheduled the experiment to run from 20th April to 22nd April. And 3 of the colleges agreed to work with us. The other 3 said they couldn't factor it in on the academic calendar since it was tight. So College of Science, College of Health Science, and College of Engineering decided to work with us. So we then treated the following topics for undergraduates. We had 2 sessions that's for undergraduates and postgraduates. But the undergraduates and postgraduates was for both the 2 was for College of Science. So we decided to have hypothesis testing through to some basic inferential statistics. We decided to have it for like 30 minutes to give them some basic knowledge in statistics for 30 minutes and have 1 hour, 30 minutes and or up to 2.5 hours for an open forum. The reason is that most of our students, we targeted the final year students because they write their thesis and their research during their final year. And most of them have their course on statistics at the first year. By the time they get to their final year, 4th year, 5th year, they've forgotten the statistics. So to have an open forum where when they are having issues with their project, they can bring it on board, then we solve it with them. So for undergraduate College of Science, we have Dr. Nimakon being the lead facilitator, and it was done on 20th of April, and at the time 10:30 to 12:30, because that's the seminar period for College of Science. Then we had a total of 72 participants being present. Then we also had it for postgraduates, and since College of Science, the seminar time is 10:30 to 12:30. We also had to do it at the same time for postgraduates. But the postgraduates, for College of Science, we have 2 faculties. We have the physical science and computational science. Then we also have the faculty of biological science, that's the biosciences. So we decided to have 2 separate facilitators. So Dr. NK from PON being the lead facilitator for physical and computational science. And for that, we had 21 participants, all coming from the Department of Statistics and Natural Science, implying that the publicity was in the department more. Then we move on to the biosciences. And for the biosciences, we had only 8 participants being present, and the lead facilitator being Mr. Akpo Eji. Then for this, the distribution. So for the distribution, for undergraduates, you realize that 70.8% of the students come from the Department of Statistics and Natural Science again. And since for postgraduate faculty of physical science was from the statistics department, we decided not to put the graph here. But for the biosciences, biochemistry and biotechnology have the highest representative. So we then went to College of Health Science. Because there are so many, we couldn't have it just one day for them. So what we decided to do is to break them into sets, where the first set was for School of Medical Sciences, and the second set was for Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, and the third set was for Pharmacy and Disability, but we decided to add Herbal Medicine to it because the first set A, we had so many people in the class. So for set A, that's for School of Medical Sciences, we had Mr. VK Dedu as being the lead student. And here we had only 22 people being present. Then we go to set B, which took place rather on 21st. The reason for 5 to 7 p.m. was because adding it to the academic calendar would be a strain on them. So they decided it's okay, then why don't we have it in the evening? When students are done with their lectures, those who are interested where they want their projects, they want to finish up with their projects, they can join. So, but for set B, since now publicity was more, we had more students joining in. So we had 67 students being present, coming from the Faculty of Health, that's the Faculty of Health Sciences, Allied Health Sciences, being nursing, being medical laboratory, medical imaging, then physiotherapy. So then we now went to set C. For set C, that was for the pharmacy people. Indeed, they really, that time publicity was much, so more students joined in. So we had 86% being present. So this is the distribution. So for the first distribution for set A, we realized that veterinary medicine was the highest. Then nursing for set B, then for pharmacy, that's doctor of pharmacy, they also representing the highest because most of our team members were in this classes, so they were able to publicize it more. So more students joining in. So there were some feedbacks from the experiment we had. Indeed, most of them said it was a good seminar, and they said the presenters and the facilitators took their time explaining the concept to them, and it helped them in their thesis. And also they requested that we do this more often, and we do it for a longer period, not for 2 to 3 hours, but we do it like for a longer period, like 4 to 6 hours, so that most of their questions can be addressed in that room. But we told them that they could come to the lab where they can have individual interaction, because one of our services is working consultation, so that we can at least direct them and solve their problem individually. And also some were talking of we having more practical sessions. So because of that, biochemistry department and biotechnology department are willing to have a practical session with LISA, whereby we are going to teach them R and Stata. So it's providing more visibility for the lab. And they said this should be done more periodically, so that it's not just a one-time thing. Some people feel comfortable in groups, not coming individually, so that those people, their challenge will be addressed. So some unexpected results was, we were expecting a massive turnout. Being that coming from the department, some classes have over 400 students. So we're expecting some massive turnout. And also we realized that in the teaching, most people had problem with basic knowledge and statistics because they had forgotten what was taught in their first year. And we also realized even problems like questionnaire design, how to design a questionnaire, was difficult for them. And they need to go out to collect their data before they can do their analysis. And there were some resolutions we have made in our next semester. We've planned on having a statistical clinic. So there are some resolutions we have made. That is, we'll do more publicity by going to our dean of students and like sending messages to the individual students, because the university has everyone's database. So we send messages to individual students. Then we engage students also on faculty basis and departmental basis, because engaging them in college, we realized that there was a massive turn up, and some of the colleges, like College of Social Science and Humanity, said there are so many. So all of them cannot be in one room. So we should do it per department or per faculty for them. Then we'll also do a pre-evaluation form. Now to know the problem they have. Group people by problem. If they have problem on regression, then we group all people on regression. If they have problem on descriptive stats, we group them so that we know that, okay, this facilitator is basically for this particular, or addressing this particular problem. So this experiment has indeed made our lab very visible. As I said, biochemistry department wants a collaboration with us by helping their PhD students in practical sessions. So all credit goes to the KNUST-LISA team, because with their help, with all the facilitators, this experiment was successful. So kudos to all the KNUST-LISA team. Yes, and I was the outreach coordinator. Thank you.
Thank you. We now have time for questions, comments from the crowd.
Okay, please, this is not a question, this is a recommendation. From your presentation, we realized that students were not well versed with statistical research, even though in terms of concept, you do very well. So maybe LISA should link up with some of these lecturers so that they will do practical teaching relative to a lot of concept. Once they do the concept, they will be practical teaching as well. I think it will help. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pels. Very nice presentation. I want to find out whether the descriptive statistics you identified as one of the general problems, was it only for undergraduates or for postgraduates? Because I haven't heard much on the postgraduates.
Okay, so
I want to ask, in practical terms, when you get to a college or a school, what do you teach them when they are gathered? Is it, they do different things, the final year students. So what do you teach them such that on the average, everybody will have something to take home? Because you said you used like 30 minutes or thereabouts to talk, and then there was interaction.
Okay, so addressing the first one, the descriptive statistics, yes, it's undergraduates who had issues, because most graduate students, that's postgraduate students, they are through with their thesis phase, so like through with their undergrad phase. So most of them, one way or the other, their research, they've engaged in descriptive statistics. So we didn't really have a problem there. We didn't even delve much with descriptive stats for postgraduate. But for the undergraduates, because they do statistics in their first year, but they do their research in their final year, they have 3 years interval. So they tend to forget the statistics we teach. So they were the ones who had problem with descriptive statistics, in such a way that when they are analyzing their data, how to even interpret some results, how to even do questionnaire design to go and collect their data was an issue. How, even which sampling techniques to use was an issue. So it was for the undergraduate student. And for the practical session, we did not have practical session for this. We are looking at having a practical session for next semester. So basically what we did for this semester is any problem they have in their thesis, as it's now, we help address it. Right? So those who have problem with data collection, then we help address it. So when it gets to now the analysis, where most of the students do the analysis in the second semester, then we help with the practical session. So that is how come we are going to have the statistical clinic by doing pre-evaluation form, then grouping students by the problem they have, then we address it, targeting the problem direct.
Thank you for that. That's what I'm about to ask you. You talk about pre-evaluation analysis. We expect us to tell us the results, and maybe on the long run, were you able to meet what you have discovered? And if yes, what level? Is it 50% or the 5%? So that could determine. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you. That was the resolutions we have made, that we are going to do that for next semester. Then in order to group them, because per the pre-evaluation, that will make us know the problems they have, then address it by that.
Thank you very much, Prof, for the opportunity. My question is, it's more of a recommendation and again a question. But as you were saying, majority of the students or courses, for example, problem stars is taught in the first year. So when they get to final year or third year, everything is gone. I'm thinking the curriculum needs to be modified. That is what I think, because at the end of the day, for my university like this, UMAT, I'm from UMAT, we have first years, of course, partaking in prob and stars, then at the same time, third years. So we have prob 1, prob 2, probably. So I'm thinking that there should be something done with the curriculum. That is my suggestion. Thank you.
All right, so we'll tell our HOD for statistics and natural science to inform the university body on structuring their curriculum.
And thank you for presentation. You have just echoed out what was in my mind. Here we have DVCs, we have respected professors, directors and the rest. I want to believe there should be a communique that we're going to generate after this kind of a workshop or a symposium. And it's going to be very interesting if the curricula or curriculum that some of the universities are using should be able to borrow knowledge from all this we're hearing, and we'll be able to impact. In short, where that has happened or is going to happen, we will discover that we can possibly change the system, because from there we teach the students and we give them the best and the ideal team that is in for the best practice. And in the future, we will not be in the same level that we are today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's give Mina a big hand. Thank you, Mina. Next, we'd like to please welcome Dr. Oludare Ariyo from the Federal University of Agriculture in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm talking on working in consulting. One of the experiments we performed in FUNAAB-LISA. FUNAAB-LISA is a very young lab. I'm Oludare Ariyo. Yeah. Well, I want to give you a kind of background of University of Agriculture. We have 3 of such in Nigeria. Now, this is from Abeokuta in Nigeria. We have 10 colleges. And one thing in this university is that most of these colleges have their own statistics. They teach statistics separately. Apart from having a general statistic from the Department of Statistics, we have people in those colleges teaching statistics. In such doing, they believe, like Professor Olubuse said, they believe they know statistics and they don't need help from us. Now, that is, and we have a lot of academic programs. One thing I didn't tell you, the university is very beautiful. We may not have a big structure, but we have serene environments. Now, this university again is actually a center of knowledge to generate good knowledge toward global growth and development. And we have our mission here. I don't want to bother you with the mission of the university, but this is what our university stands for. Now, let's move to FUNAAB-LISA. We are 22nd members of LISA network, and our aim is to provide a wide range of statistical consulting services, from simple advice to analysis of data, and also to build strong statistical knowledge among students within the university. And also we are trying to adopt an institution very close to us, which is the College of Education, and we are actually relating with those institutions to actually bring this particular institution very close to us. Every time we go to them, they believe, they want to learn. But many people in our university, as I said, they said, now we have what we do in this university. In our LISA, we have working consultation to domain expert. We have periodic trainings on statistical methodology. Now, I'll quickly go through some of the training we had. We had a training on the project research writing, and by one of our senior colleagues in the department. We had a training on the use of overleaf, and I need to tell you this. I'm ambassador of overleaf in Nigeria, and we had a training of overleaf, how to collaborate with latex. And also we have trainings on the use of R, Python, and other trainings. And in our lab, we have engaged students in several forms. This semester, we're supposed to start with our students staying back. Before, UI-LISA has been stealing our students. Now we told them they should not go this time around. They should stay behind. But but we told them they should not go. But because of the strike, we said, okay, you can go. Now We are telling you this or that. We are now getting mature now. We are going to be staying our students. Now, here in our lab, we are blessed with a lot of facilities. Anyway, we have 500 to seater computer lab, and this is one of the training section. And we have 250 seater lab. We have e-learning and video conferencing facilities. That means that even in our university, we can run an online training, and we have this facility. And so far, we have 9 academic staff working with us. They are there, all of them. And this April, we just employed this guy. He's from Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria to join us. He's actually working on my own project anyway, but he's a research assistant to one of the projects I'm working on, and he will be working with LISA now on a voluntary basis, and he resumed April 1, this last month, just the 1 month in the lab. And I believe that coming to the lab will also help the work. Now let me talk about the experiment itself. What we did was during one of our training, we have Google form, and we asked them to fill this Google form. One of the questions we asked them, have you heard about FUNAAB-LISA before? And out of the 61 people who actually responded, only 11 said they know about LISA. That means that they come to our training, they don't even care who is organizing training. Because we had Royal Statistical Association, we have this office in UNAM, Nigerian group at office in UNAM. And there is, sometimes Royal Statistical Association, we organize a training. LISA, we organize a training. People don't even care which one. They just come. We don't know whether it's RSS, whether it's LISA. And most of our training, they don't even aware that it's actually LISA, not RSS. And after that, we now did this training every Monday and Tuesday. We meet 30 minutes, 1 hour for the domain expert. And after that, we use what we call snowball sampling. We tell them when they come to our lab, please, after we engage them, we tell them to tell others about our work. And that actually helps. We circulate e-flyers, and these are the examples of e-flyers. Then after that, during another training, we asked them the same question. And now, out of the respondents, it's moved from 18% awareness to 60% after the experiment. And this experiment has helped us to collaborate in 22 projects within the university. And we have met with about 80 faculty members, even those who claim that they know statistics, but when we engage them, they come, especially the PhD students. Now we have more students engaged. And as I told you before, we now have a staff that we are employed in the lab. Now, what are the limitations of this experiment? The limitation is that our respondents, because it's those people that came for our training that we asked them. Now, that means that our sample is actually limited, because it's only those who need our service that we ask whether they have. We are not able to actually, to carry out a very robust sampling. And also, one of the challenges we have generally for this experiment and even the lab is our university policy on internally generated revenue. People are ready to pay, but where are they going to pay to? The university will say we should pay to TSA. For those who are in Nigeria, they understand what I'm saying. Pay to TSA. When are we going to get the money back? You have to write letter. The people will say, okay, let's do it for free, because we don't want to go through that stress. And actually, I said I'm going to ask people in other universities how are they managing this policy. Also, funding. A lot of people, we don't have. Thank God for those who are having personal projects. Dr. Laiwala, myself, we are using our other project to actually fund LISA, and which is the funding is actually one of the challenges we have. Now, industrial action. The training, the other set of our experiment, we want to perform it before the action, the industrial action, the strike commence. And immediately after the strike, we continue to do that. Let me acknowledge those people that we are working together in the lab, Dr. Akwegu, Dr. Laiwola, and also I want to thank other people who are actually working, Dr. Akintunde, Wale Orojo, Shoyinka, and Mr. Nisu. And I want to say thank you for your attention.
Anyone have the other microphone? So we now have questions. Thank you for that. We now have questions from the audience or comments.
Thank you. It's not a question, but the reaction to your maybe answer to your question. Nigeria government, imposes the single treasury accounting system for public universities, not maybe for other government agencies too. So what it means is that if the lab generates fund and put in that TSA account, Vice Chancellor is not even the only one that will give the final approval. The final approval might have to come from the Central Bank of Nigeria. So we've had grants and other internally generated funds, which we lodge into the TSA, but we found it difficult to access. So what we have done to bypass that, because we can't be doing the job and generating the fund but not having access to it, is to partner with organizations outside so that they receive the fund. Since it's partnership, they cannot decide, they cannot insist that the fund should come to the university. So, so we have a UI, we have the consultancy unit, which is autonomous. The University of Ibadan consultancy unit is autonomous, even though it's within the university, it operates independently. So they have their fund. So we have a collaboration agreement with them. So when we organize trainings, they receive the fund. In fact, that's the only assignment in the partnership. Please receive the fund. And then when we finish, we would take your 10%, then we have access to the remaining 90%. But if you still have problem, collaborate with us, then we collaborate with them. You get your money.
Thank you.
We have time for one more question or comment.
Dr. Ariyo. Yeah, Ariyo and I used to be lecturer and student, so I'm very happy he's here today. Yes. Just a quick one. There used to be this center, like something Professor Oludare was talking about at Copeland. I used to be there. Yeah, what's that center called? Because we have used that before. But there's a center that's for business and then the consultancy services. So we have done something like that before some years ago when we went for a training at Arrow. When we trained some medical doctors and some psychiatrists at Arrow, and then we used that platform. So we used that platform, we partnered with them, they were paid, then we were paid back, and then they just took a percentage. We did that. That was 2008. I think you should look at that opportunity instead of paying directly to the school and getting your money stock. Yeah, if the center is there, I think you should partner with them. Yeah, you know the center. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's give a big round of applause. I realize we had 2 people join us this morning that we have not yet acknowledged. And so I'd like to just acknowledge Marcus and Carla, who arrived this morning from Brazil. If you guys could please stand up, please give them a very warm welcome. And Marcus is actually our next speaker. So please welcome Dr. Marcus Nunes from the Federal University of Rio Grande do Norte from Brazil.
Can you see the red dot? Do I need the microphone? Yes? Okay. Okay. I don't like microphones. Okay. So, like Ilana said before, my name is Marcus Nunes. I'm from Brazil. And this is the experiment we want to show you the results today. The experiment was run by me, Marcus, Carla, that you met, she's at the back in the room, plus Thalita. Thalita is a statistician who works with us in our lab, and Andressa Eliardo, 2 other professors from our department. We are LEA from Brazil. So what LEA does stand for? LEA is Laboratório de Estatística Aplicada. We speak Portuguese in Brazil. So if we translate to English, is Applied Statistical Laboratory, so LEA. It's located in the Federal University of Rio Grande do Norte. This is in Natal. Natal means Christmas in English. I will translate everything for you today. And it was created back in 1978 with another name. At that time, its name was Consuleste, or Statistical Consulting, but it changed its name in 2013. I've been working with LEA since 2015, but LEA is part of LISA 2020. I think it was the 2nd lab to join the network, and we are working together for a long time. So this here is LEA. As you can see, we are very close to Africa, but we are late. And I don't know how to explain it, but it happened. Okay. So, in fact, we ran 3 experiments because when we talk about this, when Eric invited us to try to run some experiments, we thought that to have a sustainable lab, we need funding. We need to give reports that let our collaborators happy, and we need to advertise our job. So our first experiment was to get funding from the university. So we are writing this project since 2012, 2013, I'm not sure because I wasn't in the university yet, but I am responsible for writing the project since 2016. And usually we ask for a scholarship for students to help in the lab, not with the analysis themselves, but with communication and the general organization, and funding for travel. And we got no funding. So the first experiment failed. Then we ran a second experiment. because we have a Shiny server. For those who don't know, Shiny is an it's an R package. You can write interactive web pages with statistical analysis. So we thought many of our collaborators, they come with the same questions year after year. They just need to update the data set. So our students just do the same work year after year. And we thought, maybe we can write a Shiny app. The collaborators can just upload a new data set to the website, and then they get the result. The report is done. But the Shiny apps the students developed, they use maps, and the person responsible, the person responsible for the Shiny server couldn't install the package to show the maps, and the experiment 2 failed. And the person responsible to install the package was me. But we have a third experiment. We tried to use online social networks to promote our statistical collaboration lab. And this worked. And spoiler, it worked. So let me show you how we did. We thought about the most important social networks in Brazil, and we chose Instagram to promote our work. So this is the profile of our center. This is the center of the Earth and Exact Sciences in our university, so Federal University of Rio Grande do Norte. And the center has more than 1,000 followers in Instagram. Our department has almost 700 followers. So we thought, let's make some material. They will publish Instagram stories, and people will know, because there are a lot of people, right, following these accounts. Plus, I use my personal account. Talita, our statistician, used her personal account. So we try to make our lab more known in our university and our community. This was the material we used. It's in Portuguese, but as you can see, we chose an image for the background. It's the same, and it's a computer. There are some books here. Here are questions. For example, are you planning or doing a work that involves statistics? Do you know someone that needs help with collecting or analyzing statistical data? See in the next story how Laboratório de Estatística Aplicada, LEA, can help you to get your objectives. So, statistical consulting, LEA, you can submit your project until January 14, 2022, and this is the link. So look, the colors have high contrast, blue and yellow, so it's easy to read. The font in the font size in the cell phone is big enough. We change. First, we have yellow background and blue boxes. Here we have blue background, yellow boxes. So there's contrast. It gets the attention of our target audience. But we don't get the results we expected. I thought before you got, but the preliminary results were not good, because we got only five people that came to us with their problems. So we had to extend our submission deadline, and we thought Instagram alone wouldn't make it for a reasonable number of projects. We need at least 10 to 12 projects per semester for every student have at least one project to work. So we used our personal WhatsApp and Facebook's accounts to reach more people. And then these are the results. First, let me show you how many statistical collaboration requests we had from the first semester of 2015 to the first semester before the pandemic, because we get the requests before the semester starts. So this is around February 2020, so no COVID in Brazil yet. As you can see, we have like around 20 to 25 projects on average. When the pandemic hit, our average for the next 3 semesters were 6.33 requests per semester. And we almost didn't have work. So after we used the social networks, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook, we got 12 projects this semester. So I'm my statistician, so I can say we had a 90% increase from this average to this semester. We almost doubled. So if we maintain this, I made the calculations, if we maintain 90% increase every semester, by 2030, we have like billions of projects coming to us. So I think we are in the right path. So what are the lessons we learned? Instagram stories are very limited. We didn't take this into account when we designed our experiment because they last for only 24 hours. So next semester, we plan to use stories and posts because posts, they are easier to share and the posts are kept in the timelines of the accounts. Social networks are powerful, but the labs need to go where their target audience is. Because after we went to WhatsApp and we went to Facebook, we got, in 4 weeks of Instagram, we got 5 requests. In 10 days using WhatsApp and Facebook, we got 7 more. So you need to go where your audience is. And everyone in the lab must be involved. At first, it was only the 2 accounts I showed to you, plus Thalita and me. But then we asked Carla and Andressa Eliardo, 2 other professors, plus Carla, to work with us. And then we more than doubled the number of requests for the semester. So these are the people involved: me, Carla, Thalita, Andressa, Eliardo. Here are our emails, and this is our lab. We have a web page if you want to visit. It's in Portuguese, but our target audience only speaks Portuguese. So this is the reason. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcus. We now have time for questions and comments from the audience.
Thank you, Marcos. Nice hearing your voice and seeing your face. I seem to be especially interested in the 2 experiments that failed. I'm sorry, than the one that has success. Yeah. Good. It is possible that the 2 experiments may be very successful in some other countries and in some other places. But then, knowing why those 2 experiments failed from your end will really help if we want to even show special interest in adopting any of the 2. So maybe later we can chat.
Sure.
Good.
In fact, we know because the experiment 1 failed, because we had to write a grant, and the grant needs to be reviewed. And we have all the comments from the reviewers. So in fact, we know why failed. Thank you, Albert.
Other questions or comments?
Please, I want to know how your lab was set up. How many people funded the lab?
How many people in the lab?
Yes.
We have, right now, we have 10 professors. There are 6 males, 4 males, 6 females, if I'm not wrong. And we are working with around 20 to 25 students. I don't know the number, the exact number, but it's around 20, 25, all undergrads.
Thank you.
And one statistician. Talita is not a professor, she's a statistician in our lab. That's it? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Let's give Marcus a big round of applause. Another one. Thank you, Marcus. Next, we would like to welcome Mr. Timothy Handon. He's from the African Center for Education Development in Nigeria. Everyone, please welcome Timothy Handon.
Yeah, good afternoon, and welcome you once again to Africa. For those who this is your first time. Nunes, is this your first time? Prof, your first time now? Oh, welcome, super welcome. Welcome on behalf of Africa. Okay. My name is Handon, and I'm here to present our experiment on fund sourcing through innovative ideas, and I'm going to explain how that come up over the presentation. Now, to begin with, let me introduce myself, or Oludare-LISA again, as the strange child in the family, because I keep getting questions like, which university, which university? And then when I say, we're a non-academic institution, and there's this look, and I have to give long story. So I think this particular opportunity is the opportunity for me to lay that question to rest. All right, so we are a non-governmental organization. Of course, our mission is around accelerating education development through research, policy, and practice, whereby we carry out activities that tend to affect academic development, just like the recent, one that one of our units is working on, called the Ariyo Girls Forum, where young girls around teenage are being trained on vocational skills, such kinds of trainings like that. So initially, when Prof. Eric came to Nigeria in 2017, we got this talk, and I don't know if anybody can locate me there. And can we see Dr. Adoma? Good. And I'd completely forgotten about this photo until Prof shared it. And I was like, oh, yes, there was this moment. So we got that talk in 2017, and I sat on that idea from 2017 up until 2019 when I joined Oludare Africa. And I remember one time when I called Prof because there was an opportunity when I needed to apply abroad. Then I called him, I think in 2018. And then the first question, I was hoping that, you know, in Africa, you have to try to be formal first, you know, try to create the space. Then I was like, my name is Handan from Nigeria. I was like, okay, what do you want? What can I do for you? And then I froze. I hung up immediately, composed myself and called him. And then the first thing he asked me was that, what are you doing? What is your progress with LISA? And I had to explain to him that, well, I have a very keen interest in LISA, but I had fears, and which that I didn't want to lay it on a platform, on a particular platform, that it will not blossom. And so when I joined, when I visited CLEDA Africa sometime in 2019 and learned about their visions, and I felt it connected, and I, you know, had that talk, and immediately, but then I had worries again. I said, you are not an academic institution. I remember Prof saying that it has to even be universities. Then my director said, we are getting into LISA. That was what he told me. And eventually when there was a reply, my director called me and said, well, they said we need to find somebody to coordinate, and there's no other person suited. You have to lead. And then there was the issue of juggling between my institution and LISA. So it was a brilliant idea at the time to join, but then carrying on the activities, structuring the whole program was, because my idea of LISA then was that, okay, there was this structure that was already on ground, you join, and then everything is rolled out, you all do is implement. But then when I joined, when we joined, it was a different, you know, you have to come up with the ideas and all that. So, and then the first person that felt the heat of all my inquiries was my daddy here. Because when we met in the forum, in the meeting, I kept bombarding him with calls. And at some point, I kept wondering that I hope one day this man will not see my call and say, oh, this boy will not kill me. You know, so, so that is a story about CLEDA-LISA, basically. And then, you know, we were able to connect the vision of CLEDA and LISA to come up with our own mission, which is all around advancing education development. Now, like I mentioned earlier, of course, CLEDA Africa is a non-academic institution, but then we looked at it that because our activities are geared towards developing developing education, you know, it would be easy to implement some programs that would help LISA achieve its goals, you know, in the institutions that border us. Now, we actually have 4 main institutions, but we had to take one off our radar because it has this regimental structure around it. It's a military-based institution, and you know, it's not somewhere you can just walk in and walk out very easily. You know, over time we had to. In fact, one of our mentors within the institution was the one that advised that maybe if we have activities in other institutions, we can advertise, and whoever is interested can come and attend. So majorly the institutions that have been enjoying a few of our skeletal activities, it's majorly this particular one here. Sorry, I don't know how to use this. Point to this. Okay, that must be. How do I use the dot? Sorry. Okay. All right. So it's just this one right here, which is where I belong. So, and it's easy to just hold programs where you're close by. And that was because when we started, I made mention of the fact that, okay, there was the idea about having the passion to key into LISA's goals. But then when it came into reality, we had to start thinking of how that was possible. So I called Prof, and he said, he gave me some real good advice, which I was able to, that helped. So it was easy to just go out of my way, just hold some little activities, and whoever I can get to just do something, just to keep the students educated and trained and all that. So, and from the time we became full members to over to the experiment. Okay, so when we started and everything came into reality, there was a question that my director kept bombarding me with. He said, okay, now you say you wanted LISA, you have LISA now. What are your plans? And I was so much as lost because number one, LISA is not an institution. So there was this challenge of, okay, trying to really get resources around to implement these activities without incentives, because it's not as if I end up much that I'll be able to be paying people to do stuff, and I had that basic problem, like, okay, if I really want somebody to key into my own passion, there's this thing about being able to incentivize, that individual. So the first thing I thought of was, okay, let's go to a lab that have recorded successes and find out how really they do stuff. And of course, that was where our experiment began, with a visit to UI-LISA. And then I remembered some of the things they told me was, see, this your LISA lab cannot work if you don't have people who are passionate to give into it. That's one major thing. You need that passion, And the truth of the matter is that just one person cannot do the job, because one person cannot be a jack of all trades. So you have to look within your local space and try as much as possible to activate that team that will help you push forward these dreams. And then, of course, UI-LISA is quite far, but they also gave their commitment to make themselves available whenever the need arose. Now, I'm the kind of person that I like to talk. I like to talk a lot, and Daddy here is a victim of that. Even Professor Ware. I just pick up my phone, and if it worries me that much, I place a call, and then we'll keep talking. So when I came back, my colleague in Pleda, M&E, Samuel Abiu, I sat down, I spoke to him. Okay, even before that, when Prof. Eric brought up the idea of the experiment, I said, this one that I have been dragging my feet and taking it slow with the activities of now, and my director has been asking me our plans. Professor Eric put me on the spotlight, and something must be done. So there was this idea about, okay, have a workshop such that people, you have the first day, something like the idea came up from this software concept that these software developers employ, whereby they give you a trial version, then they make you pay for the full package. Now, that was where I developed that concept from. Have a workshop such that you give the first day, such that you make it very exciting, and make the subsequent days so that people will have to pay. So depending on how you make it exciting the first day, then people will want to have to pay. So the idea was how much people will attend the first, and how much you want to attend, pay for subsequent. So I held a conversation with the first two persons on the idea, and they lauded it. And the second person there, who works in Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria, very close to where my office is, and he advised that I visit this next person here, as Professor Hussein Idiko. He was my project supervisor in undergraduate. I said, okay. I went to him, I had the talk, and immediately he activated these other 2 persons. And then he said, well, this guy, he does something on LISA, so you guys should come and see what he has to say. Like, they have been hearing about LISA from the little activities where we have been doing, and the visit to Nasarawa even made it, that last symposium you had, even made it louder. You know, I didn't even know about it, that when they went back, they were talking about how involved Mr. Handan is in LISA. So when I came, he didn't even want to hear about anything. He just called these other 2 gentlemen, come and listen to what this. And immediately he said, you guys, you know what you do? Let's just form a committee and start working on this immediately. And immediately we worked on, we sat down, and then we came up with these plans. We developed a concept note for an idea. And then the initial design was to have people first session free, but people pay for subsequent sessions. But you see, that's the important thing about having people come together. Now, we sat down and said, okay, LISA wants most of these activities to be free, you know, for students most especially. I want them to be free. How then are we saying that they should come and pay? You know, so then there was a talk about, okay, how about if we're able to develop an idea such that we approach prospective funders, you know, who would buy into the idea, then fund the program. Now, in order to meet up with the deadline, I initially proposed the 24th or so of April, so that the results will be ready, whatever outcomes would have been ready before. But my dear Prof here had to cite the fact that the Muslims will start their fasting in early April, and the Christians are starting their fasting not too far from when we started that meeting. So there is no way to have brought it further back, because of course, if you want to go and approach you for funds, you cannot rush them. You have to give them time to look at your documents and sign and approve. So that's why we had to push it past. I remember calling Professor Aware and he said, please just try and make it before the. But what we looked at was that for us, even if the deadline, if we had overshot the deadline, you know, the fact that we're able to come up with such funds, you know, means that there are possibilities that we can actually come up with excess, people who even give us excess, and then we have reserve for more activities, you know. So we approached the organization, they were able to give us a little seed fund, which immediately we identified a few key prospective funders, and we went to visit the following week. And the first place, which was actually the only place we visited, was actually the National Bureau of Statistics, who is the person in the second left there. Oh, sorry. It's actually the person in the second left, not the first. I mixed out the names there. The one in the cap, not the white cap. So, so him and the first person from the left, that is Mr. Megida, and the Director of Field Service. They were quite excited about the visit, and especially the fact that they both actually knew Professor Diko. And you know what would have brought him all the way, I think about 300 kilometers. What was so troubling is that, so when they looked at when they listened to the whole idea, and they were so excited, they said we were certainly going to hear positive feedbacks from them. You know, so when we went back to Zaria, the little committee we had thought about it, that okay, this program that we want to do, we have institutions that are going to benefit from it. You know, because we are going to hold a physical session in one location, then we have virtual sessions stationed focal points in all the institutions. So why don't we get people from these institutions to join in this committee and help in the planning even before the money comes? So we're able to get these other persons. We approached the institutions, and we were able to get feedbacks from their head of departments who sent us these persons who were actually quite excited, and that's one of the plus. That's one of the takeaways for me on this particular experiment, because initial, it was as if, how do I really get people to key up to the LISA activity, you know, without really, without funds, you know, being committed. But the first meeting we held with respect to this particular event actually changed my perspective towards that. People, all these individuals were so excited that, you know, somebody was coming up with this, and the support was really great. So now it's as if, you know, we have institutions that are far away, and we have to meet online for our meetings. So as we were waiting for a feedback from NBS, unfortunately, the news came up that its chief died just within a month before our proposed date. So of course, we knew what the implication of that was. It meant that they have to put a new chief, and then he'll come up with his own policies, and that was the only. Yeah, that was the only place we visited. But the other takeaway is that we're able to activate the interest of reputed resources. And although the date is no longer feasible, but then we are restructuring and readjusting for a future date. So that's that on my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one quick question, and then we're going to finish up with our last speaker before lunch. Question or comment?
Dr. Adoma, you didn't answer your question. Sorry, Dr. Francis.
Okay. Well, we'll thank our speaker. Thank you, Handon. Round of applause. Okay, our final speaker for this session is Professor Olubode Babalola from Obafemi Awolowo University in Nigeria.
I bring greetings from Obafemi Awolowo University in Ife. Yes. So in OAU, let me just start by saying that we have 2 laboratories in OAU. And the first one is actually the first START lab globally. So that one was established in 2002. And the second one we have, it was started in 2018, but we got a certificate in 2020. I need to also mention that this presentation was prepared by 3 of us. My humble self, Dr. Michael Hawole is a researcher in our university, and Professor Albert Abeokuta was the one that did the presentation of posters in the morning, and is actually the coordinator of the center. And before I speak to this slide, I need to mention that the 2 labs, we are trying to coordinate and harmonize what we do. So in the morning, Professor Abeokuta told us what the center, the lab had done. Organizing seminar for the younger ones, the undergraduate students, bringing in the alumni to sponsor the workshop. Then after this presentation, Dr. Oludare will come up to tell us the ongoing projects, the projects that the lab in mathematics department is doing, for students, postgraduate students, undergraduate students, how they can analyze their data. So that one is ongoing. But what I'm about to speak to now is the proposal that we have, what we plan to do. Aside of what we have done presented by Professor Abeokuta and what Dr. Oludare is coming to speak to us on what is ongoing, what I'll be talking to us is the plan that we have started to work on. So the IMSU-LISA OAU was established in 2018 when Professor Eric Vance visited our university with then Dr. Awe, now Professor Awe. So in 2022, we now have about 50 members joining us. So the lab at home, we report to DVC Academic, and it's the only lab, that is, the lab, the EDM lab, and the one in mathematics, they work together to provide services to many faculties. We have 13 faculties in OAU, and we help them in analyzing their data. So aside of this one, we also extend our services to secondary schools in Ife. So there is need. We understand that people, they don't really know about statistics. The undergraduates, the college students. And we plan to have a kind of a career talk with those in the secondary school. So that statistics, people, they don't like mathematics. And they also confuse mathematics with statistics. So it's that the interest is not really there for the younger ones. So we notice that we need to go out. There is a need for our youth, to be highly interested in statistics. So the objective of this proposal is I want to get a visiting scholar that will be a foreign expertise, at least to create a kind of interest in the younger ones because they are used to us. So want a foreigner, that is well-versed in statistics to come and meet with the secondary school students. And that person will be able to use cross-border ideas to add to the existing strategies in IMSU-LISA OAU through imparting present Nigerian use in statistics and mathematics for better future. And the method we want to adopt, IMSU-LISA aimed at inviting seasoned but willing statisticians for community. We plan to engage the person for 12 months. And the plan is that we could get a visiting scholar to come to our university and maybe in form of sabbatical, and we could place them on a payroll. But with this IPPIS, those of us from Nigeria, we understand it's not possible to put anybody on payroll because of this IPPIS. So we are planning to reduce it to like 6 months. So the person will come maximum of 6 months, and we already have a sponsor for that. Somebody has indicated interest to finance the trip, the tickets. University will provide accommodation for the person, feeding all those ones have been catered for. But what we now want now is we need somebody from Nigeria that will come over to Nigeria, yes, to come and train the younger ones on statistics and create that interest in them. Not only that, there is this HAR program that Professor Awe started with us, I think in 2018. He came to our university with Professor Eric Vance, and we had the workshop on HAR statistics. So he taught us, but it ended there. So we want that person also, aside of talking to the secondary school students, we also come to the university to come and train our younger ones and our young, academics on how to use our program, our statistics. So this will be done through seminars, workshops for capacity building in statistics and data science, among other things that the person will do. So the benefit to that person is open to everybody here, anybody that is interested coming to us. So we pay stipend, not too much. Then there's going to be free accommodation. Then there's going to be lab office for that person. There will also be cross-fertilization of offshore ideas, what we have in-house and what is bringing. Then the beneficiaries will be the young career staff, the younger ones, the ultimate and postgraduate students and local community high school students. So we are expecting to get this result. That is, in the morning, there is this teaching evaluation or something like that. So what we are saying is that, in statistics, the idea is that we just analyze data. Those of us that have done project dissertation, MSc thesis, PhD thesis, we just analyze data. The implication, the outcome of the analysis, we cannot, try to appropriate the results with existing results or existing scenario in our countries. That is, you have a problem and you collect data, you analyze the data, you have results. How do we apply the result to existing situation on ground? How do we apply the results, to bring about solution to the problem that we have? In many countries, we have problem of waste management. And you go about to collect data, you analyze the data. So how will that data or the results of the analysis help in solving the problem of wastage in our countries? So the person must be ready to train us in that area that we have results so we can apply it to solve life problems in our society. So this program also, we hope that it will keep our youth with capability to provide technical solutions for local challenges. That's what I've just explained. It's also encourage statistical and data science, transborder knowledge, transfer and learning from experiences. It will scale up statistically involving solutions for global competitiveness and initiate inter-regional start lab collaboration among youths. So what we are saying is that this is still in progress. As you know, before we said that we have problem of funding, but now the funding is there. So it's now the problem of how to spend it. So we know how to spend it. Yes, we know how to spend it, but we want somebody to come and do it for us amongst the people. If you know anybody that you can, refer to us, but we don't want it to be within Nigeria. So it has to be outside the country at least to create that interest. So IMSU-LISA OAU lab is still searching for an able statistical expert. That's what I've just mentioned, with special interest in building statistics and mathematical sciences among Nigerian youth. So that is our plan. As I mentioned, what we did, somebody has spoken about it. This is our plan. Another person is coming from OAU to speak to us on the ongoing project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. So we're running, okay, we'll do one quick question. I say we're running a little late, so we'll do one quick question, and then if anyone else has questions or comments, you can ask during lunch or during the poster session. So we'll do one quick one.
Thank you for the nice presentation. Maybe because I heard that you have money, you don't know how to spend it. It's good. Now, I want to ask, you said the person that should come should not be a Nigerian. Now, the question is it the condition for the fund? Or you just want?
We are not in control of the finance. So the financier has told us this is what he wants. I don't know, because the person he has an organization. Maybe it's that there are some organizations even abroad, they don't sponsor internal or local projects. So they sponsor international projects. So that is the condition, not from OAU, not from the lab.
And somebody from Ghana is also an international, even if the person is a Nigerian.
No, where we get there, just give us the CV of the person who present to the financier. All right, sir.
That is it non-Nigerian or not resident in Nigeria? Because otherwise I qualify.
For sure. For sure, you are qualified because you are a Nigerian, and even Professor Awe is qualified too. He's a Nigerian, he lives in Brazil, and so many other, and Babalola too is there from Uganda, yes. But we will look at it, the condition that the person gave us. Even if you can't come, you can, refer people to us, you can recommend people to us. No problem. We'll look at it, we'll look at it when we get there. I don't know, we'll find out from the financier. Thank you, sir.
The donors. You see, it's good to invest in what will last and give maximum optimal reward. If you have money to send somebody out to another lab, even if it's outside the country, I learned a lot when I visited Virginia Tech, Purdue University, and other universities. I think the experience of Professor Awe too, helped to start the lab in Nigeria. So when our people go out, acquire the skill, and come back, it's going to generate multiple impacts than when somebody comes and stay for just few months and then leave. It's not going to achieve the desired result. So I'm pleading at the level of the university. If in future you have access to such, or you could advise those donors that this is what will give us lasting impact rather than short-lived impact. People have come to other labs and they have gone back to replicate the experience they acquire. I think that is better.
Thank you, sir. Well noted.
Let's give a big round of applause and a round of applause for all of our speakers.